I wouldn't have a majority of my physical gold and silver in silver, but I would probably have something like 30 to 40%. I think that would make sense because that would maximize your resources, I think, in the interim period when you will find there is a catch-up. The one thing they won't confiscate is silver, and that as a commodity is wildly underpriced. I mean, you can't expect to see lithium go up 10 times and silver fall 20%. I mean, it's just complete nonsense. So from the industrial point of view, it makes an awful lot of sense, I think, to accumulate silver. But also, if we as, sort of peons are denied legal money in the form of gold, then we fall back on silver. And interestingly, I mean, we know that at the time of Sir Isaac Newton, the relationship was fixed at around about, I think it was 15.5 ounces of silver to 1 of gold. But if you go back to Roman times, go back to Diocletian, in his Edict of Prices, he fixed the rate at 6 times. 6 ounces of silver to 1 of gold. Which is interesting. And where are we at the moment? We're 80 something. I haven't looked at it in the last few days, but that actually is, if you're looking at the gold price as a performance, if you like, in other words, as an investment, then that has probably got more potential for you. But I would not look at it like that. I think we just want to get out of risk, and risk is fiat currencies, fiat related assets, everything priced in fiat, and assets which you cannot price in the absence of fiat without fiat actually being converted into proper money substitutes. So I think some silver in there would make an awful lot of sense as an insurance against the stupidity of the system when it tries to hold on to its power by taking yet more power from us and denying us the use of money. The other thing which I think is terribly important is that your family and your close friends around you will not have taken this course of action, and they will need help. And silver will be, I think, more useful in that context than gold necessarily. I would see gold as being, if you like, very useful for, if you like, doing capital transactions. I mean, going back to an earlier situation in Germany in 1923, I've said this so many times, so I'm repeating myself in a way, but you could have bought a really posh house in Berlin in late 1923 for 5 ounces of gold. It was $100, which is just slightly less than 5 ounces of gold at 20.67 to the ounce, which was the conversion rate then. And that's what happens in this. I mean, before the First World War, that house might have been, say, something like 500,000 marks, or even less, probably, because it would have been gold marks then. But in 1923, it might have been several billion marks, but it was only $100, 100 gold-backed dollars. So that's what happens to asset prices. And I would think that the canny thing to do is to expect that opportunity to come up again, where you can actually buy physical assets with gold and silver. You probably, depending on the jurisdiction, you probably have to have it in something which is legal tender. So in the UK, you would do it with sovereigns, for example. Or you might do it with, those 1 ounce gold coins, which are actually legal tender. They're marked as £100. So, but so I think that's the way I'd look at it. I mean, really, gold is going to be very, very useful for those capital transactions in particular. Where you want to buy a farm or something, it probably won't take an awful lot of gold coins to do it. But silver, you're absolutely right, as a small change, and probably not such small change, silver is extremely useful. the whole point of physical gold and silver is that you are getting out of the fiat currency system. You are not, and eventually, when the fiat currency system collapses, which I think is getting closer and closer, and more and more people are beginning to understand that this is a real possibility, you will spend it. I would have thought, therefore, on the basis that silver has a lot of catching up to do compared with gold, but silver will never be fixed. Because the only escape route from this is that eventually these fiat currencies will have to be fixed against gold. I don't know what it would be in dollars. I mean, sterling, I can easily imagine £1 million an ounce. I mean, that's not meant to be a statement of a profitable opportunity buying gold. It's actually a statement of the collapse of sterling as a currency. I don't know where it would happen, but they need to do that in order to distribute, if you like, a money substitute, a gold substitute across the nation. I mean, we had this after the war with Hong Kong. When we reclaimed Hong Kong, we walked in there and there was the military yen, which was completely collapsed in value. What they did was that they introduced the new Hong Kong dollar, which was on a currency board basis, and they swapped it and the ratio of 5,000 to 1. Not because there was any value in the Japanese military yen, but because they needed to get it distributed throughout the economy. That, I think, is what eventually will happen. How long we'll take to get there, I don't know. But it will be gold, I think, which will be the metal which will be fixed against turning the paper currency into a money substitute. So taking that into account, I would think that, I mean, we all know that when the price of gold goes up and it takes silver with it, silver tends to move up twice as fast as gold, or slightly less than twice as fast as gold. So that, in fiat money terms, would be a very good starting point. Probably to switch later on back into gold when, say, the ratios drop to something like 30 to 1 or something like that, or something which will enhance your the gold in your possession, the physical gold in your possession, compared with your starting point. But I think that the thing which I think is interesting about this is that once you find that nations are settling their overseas trade in sound money, in real money, if you like, or something which is tied to real money, then I think it's less of a difficult step for them to accept the attachment of their own domestic currencies to the gold price. And it's that really does give me great hope that this will work.